Hey everyone, today I'm in Ingalls, Oklahoma, and we're going to be discussing Bill Doolin and what happened here. So we are now in the Summit View Cemetery in Guthrie, Oklahoma, in a section of it called the Boot Hill Cemetery. Something pretty common that you'll see is outlaws buried in a section of a cemetery, no matter where you're at, called Boot Hill. And the reason for that is they died with their boots on. And this one is no exception. This is the grave of Bill Doolin. He's a pretty notorious outlaw in his day and had one of the most powerful gangs in the Southwest. If you've ever listened to the group The Eagles, their album Desperado, Bill Doolin is one of those ones that was an inspiration to their album. And there's a song on there called Doolin. That was because Doolin actually ran with the Daltons prior to forming his own gang, the Wild Bunch. If you notice down there, someone's placed flowers and then a boot down there. William M. Doolin, nicknamed Bill, was born in 1858 in Johnson County, Arkansas. At the age of 23, he drifted west and started working as a cowboy in Indian Territory. He was considered trustworthy, hardworking, and capable. However, it was during this time that he associated with other cowboys who were outlaws. By the 1890s, Doolin had hooked up with the Dalton gang, where he participated in several train and bank robberies. His first encounter with the law happened in 1891 in Coffeyville, Kansas. Bill and several of his friends were celebrating the 4th of July drinking beer. Kansas was a dry state at the time, so the lawmen attempted to confiscate the alcohol, and a shootout erupted, resulting in 2 of the lawmen being wounded. Doolin and his cohorts quickly fled the area. This led to Doolin being a wanted man. On October 5th, 1892, the Dalton gang made its fateful attempt to rob 2 banks at once in Coffeyville, Kansas. Bill wasn't exactly keen on doing this job, and as the story goes, his horse became lame and he went to a nearby ranch to get a new horse. The Dalton gang went on into Coffeyville, and what happened next was considered a total failure. The town was ready and waiting for this gang. Several members of the gang were killed, including Bob and Grat Dalton, Bill Power, and Dick Broadwell. Emmett Dalton survived and spent several years in prison for the attempt. Soon after this incident, Doolin formed his own gang, the Oklahoma Hombres, who were also known as the Wild Bunch or the Oklahoma Long Riders because of the long dusters that they wore. This group specialized in robbing banks, stores, stagecoaches, and trains in the Oklahoma, Arkansas, Kansas, and Missouri areas. They quickly became the terror of the Wild West. On March 14, 1893, Bill married Edith Ellsworth of Ingalls, Oklahoma. And on June 11, 1893, Bill was shot in the left foot following a train robbery. He recovered but walked with a limp the rest of his life. In August of 1893, the Doolin gang was taking refuge in the small town of Ingalls, Oklahoma. Most of them had been living at the town hotel and spending their time at the Ransom Saloon. When U.S. Marshals got the word of their location, Marshal E.D. Nix formed a posse of 27 deputy marshals and Indian police. A young boy had seen the lawmen camping out nearby and warned the gang, "The marshals are coming." On September 1st, the posse entered the town with the intent on capturing the gang. A gunfight ensued in what would be remembered as the Battle of Ingalls. 3 deputy marshals would die along with 2 citizens. Bitter Creek Newcomb was severely wounded but escaped. Arkansas Tom Jones was captured and sent to prison. So this is the old location in Ingalls, Oklahoma, where Bill Doolin had a big time shootout, probably one of the biggest shootouts in Old West history. So these old buildings that are here, I don't know whether they've been kept up or they've sort of been reconditioned or they're replicas, but they still stand here and they look pretty much identical to how they were long ago. Livery barn there, just kind of some stables through here, and then this is the old saloon right here, kind of where a lot of this stuff began. I actually hear and see a horse over there. He's kind of talking to me. I don't know if you guys picked that up. Adds to the ambiance here though. Some old siding on the side of this, like some old tin or something. But a lot of history happened here. Pretty cool. A lot of shots were fired here. And a lot of lives were changed. This is the old hotel. Sign is pretty much kind of worn down, and it used to have sort of a covered porch area or awning, whatever you want to call it. I was here years and years ago, and it was still here, so I guess that it's fallen and they've hauled it off. Here's an old hitching post there. And then this is the old general store. There's a private residence back there, so we won't show that, but the old general store. Cool location though to reenact this stuff. But yeah, there's not a whole lot left in this old town. Just wanted to show you this as it had a little bit to do with the old outlaw and Oklahoma history. But it's still standing here. It's in Ingalls. Some people call it a ghost town, but there are a lot of people still living here. Maybe not a lot. There are quite a few houses and they're occupied, even right back behind this. Pretty interesting. It does make you curious what's on the inside. I don't know if anyone knows of businesses that were here, or maybe did they stage reenactments, movies? I don't know. Leave a comment below if anything like that happened. It'd be cool to fix that up and use it in an actual movie somehow. They could CGI the house back behind it out of it. It looks right out of the Old West though. E.D. Nix directed his best deputies, the three guardsmen, Bill Tillman, Chris Madsen, and Heck Thomas, to take down the Wild Bunch no matter what it took. The Doolin gang heist continued, but the three guardsmen were in hot pursuit, and the gang members were being killed one by one. Doolin soon fled to New Mexico in the summer of 1895, knowing that his freedom was limited. Doolin made several offers to surrender for a lighter sentence, but they were all rejected. In January of 1896, Doolin went to Eureka Springs, Arkansas with his wife to seek the medicinal waters for his foot that was still bothering him. It was there that Marshal Tillman tracked down Doolin and captured him with no resistance at all. Doolin was taken back to Oklahoma and jailed in Guthrie to await trial. On July 5, 1896, Doolin, along with Dynamite Dick Clifton and 12 others, escaped the jail and fled. So this is the Oklahoma Territorial Jail in Guthrie, Oklahoma, and this is what housed Bill Doolin and where he escaped from. And it housed many criminals in here over the years. and it just kind of sat in limbo. It's sort of abandoned, but they had a restoration project that they were going to do on it, and I believe that it got delayed because they did a bridge road restoration project that goes across the river, and with that project it kind of limited the access to it, and now you can see this cement railing and wall that kind of blocks the view of the jail from this particular side of the road. But I'm hoping now that they're done with the bridge that they go back to the jail and try to complete that restoration project on it and bring it back to its former glory. It's an interesting piece of history, and it holds a lot of significance in the Oklahoma Territory, as it housed so many criminals here in this land of the outlaws. But it's been several things since it was a jail. I know it was a church, and I believe a Christian youth center at one point. So there have been some modifications in it since it was a jail. But supposedly this building is haunted like so many other buildings in Guthrie. Standing up here on this upper part on the side of the bridge, see a McDonald's cup in the window there. So I don't know, there could be some homeless or something living in there, I don't know. It's a couple spots in Guthrie where I do know that they are living. But I want you to look at the upper part here, right underneath the eave of the green roof. And underneath that plaster that is kind of broken off and peeled away, you can see some of the old bricks there. See if I can zoom in a little bit and show you that. It's pretty cool though. It's neat that this old jail is still here, and I really would like to see it as an old history museum or something like that. What better place is there than this right here? There's a lot of history in downtown Guthrie. A lot of history. Lawman history, outlaw history, all sorts. Wacky history even. After escaping the jail, Doolin took refuge with his wife in Lawson, Oklahoma, which is now Quay, Oklahoma. However, his freedom there would be brief. On August 24th, 1896, Doolin was tracked down by Deputy Marshal Heck Thomas, and when Bill refused to surrender, Heck Thomas shot and killed him by a shotgun blast. Doolin's body was put on display in Guthrie, Oklahoma. A local photographer made 2 photos of the dead outlaw. Mrs. Doolin and her brothers composed a poem about the outlaw and sold it with the photos to all who would buy it for 25 cents each. The profits were to be used for burial expenses, but the government ended up paying for the embalming and the burial because of the need to preserve the body for identification purposes. Doolin's widow filed a $50,000 damage suit against the U.S. Marshals for the unlawful death of her husband, but it was dismissed in February of 1897. So this building right here on the corner of Oklahoma Avenue and Division Street in Guthrie, Oklahoma, is the building that they displayed Bill Doolin's body after he was shot and killed. There were approximately 1,000 people that filed through to see him because he was so well liked throughout the town. So thanks for watching this little history tour on Bill Doolin. I hope you enjoyed it. We'll see you guys next time. If you enjoy these types of videos, please check out my other ones on outlaws and lawmen.